What positives can we take from the pandemic?
I think when you look overall, like the big picture when it came to the pandemic, the positives for me was that communities were coming together. People were concerned about their neighbors' safety and health. Never seen so many masks in my whole entire life, and my background is in healthcare, and everybody was masked up, everybody was concerned, everybody was caring. There was no flu during this pandemic. Yes, we had the COVID, and that's tragic, but no flu. But the big takeaway for me was the fact that neighbor was looking out for neighbor.
I know that in Yarmouth, we made a whole lot of people that were traveling weren't traveling. So I work in an industry where we sell wood and products like that, and we've been flat out because everybody's building instead of traveling and doing all the things that they used to. I'm sure that there's tons of little things that I don't even notice that happened, but some people got a lot closer, and a lot of people, because they were arguing online and going through all that stuff, got a lot more distance. But I learned people were going to put their opinions out there, that's for sure. I had a rough time at the beginning, but I'm glad it's over. So
we definitely have to continue sanitizing and wearing masks where there's a lot of people in that. So, but other than that, I think that about covers. Yeah, positives,
Positive, I think there's a lot of positives. First of all, I think there was a lot of unknowns 2 years ago, a lot of unknowns, but having lived through the 2 years, I find that I'm wearing a mask more often. I wash my hands way more. And you know what? We never got a cold, never got the flu. So you know what? I guess there was a lot of germs going through. So I think there's a lot of positives there. And I've learned.
I would say that a lot of people, families, are learning to spend time with their children. And, you just can't let them sit with a screen in front of them all the time. That you have to get out, you have to keep active, do things, or your mental health is going to be in grave trouble.
The positives from the pandemic are that we now know what matters, I think, a little bit more, so we can hopefully move forward with a little bit more consciousness about what we're doing and who we want to see and what we want to spend our time doing. So once stuff like that's all taken away from you, don't have options. You have a lot of time to think about what really matters. So I think that's one of the only positives.
Well, the positives, I think, were how quickly neighborhoods started to get together, how quickly people started to look out for each other. Let's hope we remember that when things go back to a little bit more normal way. Let's just start to look out for your buddy a little bit more normal.
Learning how to work alone, learning how to work independently, and not feeling like you need to be out at all times of the day doing crazy things.
I've definitely become better at reaching out to people that I don't see very often. During the pandemic, my social life was primarily a set of video calls, and so it didn't matter if someone lived in Ottawa or lived, say, in Japan. I'd be reaching out and scheduling video calls. So I have better relationships with some of my more distant relatives.
We've been more conscious about our health. I think maybe we've been more caring about one another than maybe we were before.
I think it really humanized everyone and realized how equal we all are, because COVID doesn't discriminate. It affects all of us. And that just, I feel like, brought us together in a way, although it's obviously an awful happening, but yeah.
For me personally, I was very fortunate. I live close to my parents, my children and I, and my husband. I feel like it developed closer bonds. It gave us an opportunity to have time together that we normally wouldn't have had, and we tried to make the best of it. So I'm hoping when my children are growing up, when they look back, it's not this horrible, traumatic experience for them, but hopefully we managed to bring some, silver lining into the cloud for them.
I think the biggest silver lining we could take from the pandemic is it allowed us to take a step back and realize how important interactions are with us from a day-to-day basis and just human relationships, and staying away from a lot of everything that's available to us online. Everything is you can order food without leaving your house. There's honestly not a lot of reason to leave your house, and just getting out there and making some personal relationships can avoid a lot of things such as anxiety, which is really important.
To be honest, I'm thankful for life, and I think people should be thankful that, you know, if you made it out through it, whether you're vaccinated or not, it's a matter as to, I'm happy that I'm breathing another day. You're with other people, you have the relationships that you had, and you're here to go on.